Hey everybody, it's Miss Sarrett here. On this video, we are going to talk about how to find the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. These are your TEKS objectives for this video. The first one deals with solving problems that involve volume. The second one is just going to be a minor focus this week. It has to do with estimating measurements. A lot of that will be a review for you. Now go ahead and write down both of these objectives, but don't worry, you're still only completing one reflection for this. So before we talk about volume, let's talk about area. So with area, we're just trying to find the amount of squares that would cover a certain amount of space. So in a rectangle, you're just finding how many squares would fit in there. So in this picture, we have what's called an array. And as you can see, there are 3 different rows. Each one of those rows has 6 squares in it. And 3 times 6 is 18. And you can see that the length is 6 and the width is 3. So that's where the length times width formula is coming from for area. So when we talk about volume, we're concerned about the number of unit cubes that will fit inside of a 3-dimensional figure. In 6th grade, you're worried about finding the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. So let's say we have this one layer of cubes right here. So you can easily count and see how many are there. Or we could use the area formula. So we have a length of 4 here and a width of 3. So we can multiply 4 times 3 to equal 12. And you could see that we have 12 squares right here. But what if I wanted to take this layer and I wanted to stack it? Well, let's say I wanted to stack it 5 times like you see in this picture here. So I know that in this picture we have 12 cubes because 3 times 4 is 12. So over here I still have my length of 4 and width of 3, but I just have that stacked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I have my length times my width, which is 12, and then I want to multiply that times 5, which gives us 60. So then we know that we have 60 total cubes inside of this figure. And this is where the volume formula comes from. And the volume formula is length times width times height. Let's try an example. Here's something you're all pretty familiar with, a Rubik's Cube. So a Rubik's Cube has a length of cubes, has a width of 3, and a height of 3. So when we're doing length times width times height, we simply have 3 times 3 times 3, which turns into 9 times 3, which is 27. And whenever we're doing volume, whatever units we have, they're going to be cubed. So in area, it's the units squared. In volume, it's units cubed, because with volume, remember, we're seeing how many cubes fill the 3-dimensional figure. In this example, we have a length of 9 centimeters, a width of 5 4/10, and a height of 4. So we're doing length times width times height. So we have 9 times 5 4/10 times 4. Now if I'm thinking smart, I would just multiply the 9 times 4 first to give me 36. Then multiply that times 5 4/10. So I'd go ahead and just pause this and work that out yourself. And you should get the answer of 194 4/10 centimeters cubed. So I said that next week we would also be talking about estimating, so let's try a volume problem that involves estimating. So we have the length, width, and height right here. So our length would be approximately 7 if I'm rounding to the ones place. The width would be approximately 10, and the height would be approximately 1 inch. So I have 7 times 10 times 1, which gives me 70 inches cubed. So when we talk about estimating next week, these are the topics that you want to make sure you remember. We are going to be going over these, so it'll be pretty easy. It's just going to be a review, but make sure you know perimeter area, elapsed time, temperature, weight, angle, circumference, and of course you need to know volume. So, of course, before I leave, I have to end with a joke. So, we have 3 inside of a square, 3 squared equals 9. And then we have 3 inside of a cube, and 3 cubed equals 27. Thank you, thank you. Well, I thought it was funny. But seriously, have a good weekend. Don't forget to do your reflection, and I will see you on Monday.